Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I would like to do something maybe a little bit different. Let's get a little closer, shall we? Do you want to get a little closer? All right, I have a question. Can you answer this question honestly? Come closer. All right. So let's talk about attraction, right? Are you attracted to your partner? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about that because I know I had to think about that. Are you attracted to your partner? Um, I know some of you will think, oh, wow, that's a really interesting question, right? Why wouldn't I be? I mean, I'm still with my partner. Of course, I'm still attracted to he or she, or I wouldn't be with them, right? Well, did you answer the question honestly? Are you? Think about it. How often are you guys intimate? Is it often? Has it slowed down? Is it like it used to be? Has it completely slowed down? Do you know the reason why? Have you thought about the reason why? Okay. So the thing is that people don't really think about this situation. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I witnessed this in a friend of mine, like they were having problems, right? It's not until right now that I'm finding out what the situation could have been, right? And I guess in looking back, probably this started, I want to say like maybe a year or two ago. And she didn't really think anything of it. She just thought, she was busy. She traveled for work and all of that stuff. And the next thing you know, he's making trips. He's making trips, right? Okay, so he's making, and they have kids. He's making trips, and she didn't think anything of it, right? Because she also has to travel for work. But lo and behold, they're having problems. He's moving out, and he comes back. Like that. Just it just seemed out of. I don't know. To me, it seemed out of the blue, right? Or it seems sudden. So do you find yourself in that situation? Do you think that everything is, going as planned in your relationship, but do you find yourself like with low desire, like you just don't have the desire to be intimate, or maybe you're not really that attracted to your partner? Um, do you know the reason why? Do has there been any change in like your relationship? Has there been like stressors? Like I was talking about my close friend, it could be work related. Could it be like health wise? Did someone gain weight? I know in her case, she gained some weight. In his case, he didn't really gain weight. He was just selfish. Not to bash him, but I mean, that's ultimately because I heard the stories, right? To me, he just seemed really selfish, right? And I think oftentimes as women, we overlook, like the whole intimacy, at least the physical intimacy or like the sex, and we really focus on like the emotional connection. Like you see a good father, like he does things around the house, he's there, so you don't really, you kind of like put the physical attraction and all of that at the bottom of the list, right? This is for people who have been together like maybe longer, right? Maybe married or have been in a relationship longer, right? It's not at the beginning of the relationship. Well, I think that that's the issue, right? A lot of people like don't prioritize sexual attraction at the beginning of the relationship, right? And what happens is, I'm talking about when they start to get serious, right? Obviously, when you're dating, you're dating and however long you date, but when it comes time to settle down, maybe for marriage or to become committed to each other, a lot of people don't, like you start putting other things on top of that attraction. You start checking other boxes, right? And you don't really focus on, uh, the attraction. Maybe that goes down the list as you prioritize what's more important to you or what your deal breakers are, right? And so now down the line in a relationship, maybe you guys are committed and now you're married because okay, they check the boxes. Okay, yes, she's good with the family. She's she keeps she can cook. She's religious. She's all of the things that check your box, right? And now you checked all the box, and now you're married, or maybe now you're in a long-term relationship, and then you find like things have slowed down attraction wise or physical, like physical attraction or maybe sexual attraction, right? Um, so, uh, like, what could have happened? Do you think has a spark died down? Could it be like testosterone? Like, is there like it could be like as you get older, the sex drive, like that lowers, that drops, and it could be a number of things. Stress, right? Um, so like, what do you do? Like, what can people do to spark? You find yourself in this rut, and now the sex drive isn't there or the attraction isn't there anymore. Well, can you bring that back? Is it possible to bring that back? In my friend's case, I think they tried, right? They tried, but I don't know. Like sometimes you don't want to be invasive. They tried. However, what happened, maybe it was too long, or maybe he had already checked out, right? Because he moved out and then he got a girlfriend and all of that stuff. So I mean, can you fix this, right? In their case, they couldn't. I think they tried, but they couldn't fix it. But it's not too late. You can fix it. But how can you fix it, right? Well, one of the first things to do is before you get serious with someone, right? You need to make sure that, that you check that box. Are you attracted to that person? Are you physically attracted to that person? Because if you're going to get into a long-term relationship and that attraction isn't really there, it's going to be hard for you to, to create something that was never there, right? So that's one lesson to learn from the whole situation, right? Um, a lot of times people prioritize, stability, finance, but the whole, attraction stuff is not, it's not at the top of the list. It goes down the list, right? Um, you need to be including, okay, what about the sexual energy? What about the sexual attraction? These are some of the things. Listen, the professionals and research has shown that sex is good, right? A healthy relationship, you need to have sex, right? So you want to make sure that you do have that attraction to where you're intimate, not just emotionally, but also, an intimate, it makes you get closer. It makes you feel connected to your partner, right? Um, so while trying to, like a lot of people while trying to find a wife material or husband material, do you neglect the sexual attraction, right? So that's one of the things to fix when you start getting serious. Make sure that you are attracted to that person. Make sure that spark is there, right? Make unless you're entering like a, like a business sort of relationship, then in that case, maybe that doesn't matter, right? Um, so if you don't have the desire in the beginning, it's going to be pretty hard. I think I talked about this. It's going to be pretty hard for you to get the desire to be intimate or to, like fix or spark a relationship if it's not there, right? So you want to make sure that it's there, and you want to make sure that you don't neglect that when you're trying to when you're doing that list, right? Make sure that it's at least at the top of the list, right? Make sure that it's at the top of the list, right? But for some people, right, attraction can grow over time. Attraction can grow over time. For women, a lot of women, a lot of it is like emotional. You can be connected to someone, you can feel emotionally connected to someone, you can love someone, and it doesn't always, like focus on the physical attraction or maybe like, sexual attraction, right? Um, but attraction can grow as you get to know the person, right? You get to feel close to that person. Can make connections in so many different ways. But it's not the end of the relationship because the attraction isn't there, right? You can spark up, like your sex life. What can you do? What are some of the things that you can do, right? Some people like to introduce, I don't know, are you a monogamous type of person? Do you want to introduce like another person in your relationship? I caution you, if you're going to do that, make sure you sit down and have a candid discussion with your partner. Make sure you talk very candidly with your partner. If you have any hesitation, be open and honest, and make sure you create boundaries so that, you don't end up, kind of like hurting your relationship even more by, trying to be adventurous, right? Um, then what are some of the other things? Like talk to a medical professional, right? If is it testosterone? If testosterone drops over time as you get older, is it stress? Get help. Are you guys having problems? It could be that maybe there's something that happened like within your relationship that you have not let go of emotionally, because emotional constraints can be a barrier in a relationship and intimacy, right? Did your partner do something? Did your partner cheat? Did your partner do something that you have not forgiven your partner for? Okay. Are you holding a grudge, and that is creating a barrier within your relationship, right? Talk to a professional, talk to a therapist, go on your own, go as a couple, do what it is, at least give it a try, and try to make sure that, you talk to a professional, right? So I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional, so I'm going to add a clip to this, and it is about like a professional who gives suggestions on what to do, and who also kind of elaborates on, what's important in a relationship, and like physical attraction. Okay. So do take the time and watch this little clip from the professional, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure you thumbs up the video, leave a comment. Is there something, that you can identify with this topic? Are there other topics that you would like for me to talk about? I do appreciate, like engagement in the topics, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.
Survive and thrive if there's no physical attraction?
Let's ask psychotherapist Mary Jo Rapini. She is joining us live. Mary Jo, good morning to you. Physical attraction is that one thing that distinguishes a romantic relationship from just we're friends. So that's what we've been led to believe. What do you think?
Well, that's absolutely true. I think the physical attraction is very important, but I think it's important that when you lose physical attraction, that you don't give up or walk away from your relationship, but rather start looking for other forms of attraction as well, because then you can minimize the effects of not feeling very physical about your partner. It's normal to lose attraction every once in a while for all couples. So I want to put that out there. If you're in that place, don't panic.
No, don't, because it can wax and wane, and all that spark can come back. But what can cause it to fade in the first place?
Well, that's a really good question. Many things can start it, like if you stopped talking to each other, if you're no longer playing together, you feel disconnected, you're holding on to a grudge, or you're wanting revenge, and things as simple as you're bored. And in fact, that's the most common reason I've seen people lose attraction for their partner. They become bored with themselves, and that's projected onto their partner.
But you said the good news here is that you can get it back. You can rekindle the spark. What do you need to do first?
Well, the most important thing is that you face the fear and you start talking about your feelings, and you listen and allow your partner to talk about how they're feeling about the relationship, about what each of you can do differently. And I think that talk is really important, and you don't need a therapist to do that. You can do that on your own.
All right, so let's walk through some of the other steps. So you talked more about finding a different kind of attraction. What would that look like?
That's right. We're so complicated. Like, we also have a spiritual attraction. We have an intellectual attraction. We have attraction to our mate as far as what kind of parent they are, what kind of companion they are. And when you begin focusing on those other things, it helps take away the superficialness or minimize the amount of physical attraction you don't feel. And many times it will generalize, and you'll find yourself getting very attracted to your partner again.
How does forgiving yourself help you to rekindle?
Well, most of the time when we're unhappy with our partner and we're not feeling physically attracted, we begin saying mean things, and that can make us feel guilty. So you have to forgive yourself. You have to back up, and you have to restart talking about how we can make this work together.
And then you can maybe get adventurous, make sure you're having fun together. And then I always say it is so important, especially for us women and for the guys too, to have your besties. Don't expect your partner to fill every part of your cup. Like, let somebody else fill it up for you.
That's so important. I mean, when you think about it, before you were in a relationship, you had a lot of interest, and too many times we get busy and we let those go, Melissa. So it's really important that you start getting interested in your hobbies, start doing things, and getting some of your network to help fill those needs you need.